Yeah. So it turns out that the problem was that with the echoing was that their StreamYard was somehow open in two tabs. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that's a fun, sexy time for us. I kind of hate that I can't.
We do it. We're gonna have to reinvite.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
She's like, "Fuck you! I know what I'm doing." God, don't tell me how to give me a
Don't
job.
yeah, don't tell me I do my job that I'm very bad at. Okay, here we go. That although this still doesn't explain why I was still getting an echo after I turned the volume on my phone all the way down. I was fucked. We're probably gonna get out of Ohio eventually, but we forgot how to live stream. Also, yeah, StreamYard. Okay, so now apparently this is happening. Invited guests, copy clipboard, Twitter, DM, Iron Talk, paste. Not even saying anything. Just, there's a link. Okay, and now Matt Stagger asks, says, "Be safe getting home." We will certainly endeavor to do so. Yeah, live streaming is definitely a safe feature.
For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure. For sure.
Because if we're not actively like talking shit at each other,
Yeah, we're gonna die.
we're just gonna like we're just gonna fall. We're gonna fall. We'll fall asleep, or while we're not paying attention, we will somehow enter a portal into some weird like parallel dimension.
Yes.
That is just
It's gonna be
that is
either
just
way. It's a mess.
endless narrow roads and cornfields.
And hillbillies at death.
Yes.
All right, so now we're moving again. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Now we got to figure out how to get the fuck. I need you to. I need you.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
you're.
You know what? See, here's the thing.
I can think of some areas of opportunity for you vis-a-vis navigating.
Remembering that I need to do it. Yes.
Yeah, that's sort of number one. Other things that could use work, picking the little voice that goes on Waze that doesn't do like a full fucking monologue every time it's
something. Oh God, right? I feel like boy bands is really the way to go.
Boy bands, I feel like is a good choice.
Okay, Waze is still like fucked for some reason. I'm just gonna, you know what it probably needs is like an update from
probably.
For now, though, I will throw myself on the Google Maps fame.
Okay, and I really
and we are going this way.
Oh God. Oh God, I have to make a choice. Please help me. Oh God.
If you were around at all for a previous live stream, I'm really bad. I have no sense of direction. I cannot be relied upon to even get. I cannot be relied upon to go the right direction on like an interstate.
I think I just talked on Riyadh to the street.
Oh hey, what's up, guys? I can hear them. Hold on.
I need to turn the volume up.
Shit. Shit.
What's that? It's like half full of our faces.
We're always the other side, Jen.
Nope, that's not. I don't want to leave a comment. I talk. I'm the boss. Here, push the little pause and just stay out it. Fix it.
Where are you?
This
Maybe?
Hey.
That's better. That's good. We crushed it.
Hey.
Yeah. So
Road trip streaming.
so how long?
Our ride's about 8.5 hours.
Yeah, about the same for us too.
We're I don't know, 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours in, right? We just hit Pennsylvania. We're in Pennsylvania now, so we'll be in here for the next 260 miles or so.
Yeah.
You did get out of Ohio. We haven't made it that far yet. And I don't know that we ever.
No, I'm pretty sure we live here.
I can't hear it. What's that, Jen?
This is such a good idea. I can't hear you guys at all.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
I'm trying to play hard through Bluetooth, but it's not working.
Right. So fantastic idea that we had, obviously. That people race that I'm navigating and that Jess is not. Is that's so I'm navigating because her phone can only do one thing at a time.
Well, you do a couple of things, but not well.
So the stream takes up all of her phone's capabilities.
You won't even connect to each other.
You want to drop out? We can't hear them. Guys, we can't hear you at all because of Joe's phone and the Bluetooth set up in the car. So we're going to drop out because we don't even know if you're talking to us. We're sorry.
No, we love
Thank
you.
you for having us on. You two are the best.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Okay,
We tried.
nailed it.
I mean, we're learning on the fly, right? I think we're fucking trailblazing with like live streaming
Yes.
conversations while fucking driving because that's the thing that people do.
I think I told Michael and Kate about so yeah, we live streamed our drive here, and because they also road trips their way to walk on. When I say Michael and Kate, they're my best friends
because they are.
Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, our guests of honor this year, they drove to walk on, which I found pretty cool. And so in asking about did you drive? Did Michael drive? Share whatever. I told her you should totally try live streaming your road trip. I bet you guys would be I bet that'd be great. The Michael Kramer and Kate Redding live stream.
Road tripping, married people. Road tripping. It's fun.
And it would help keep her awake because apparently that was a problem.
I can feel that.
Yeah. They stopped and got Arby's. And afterwards, she had the Arby's food coma.
That's where they get you.
It was supposed to be her turn to drive. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Poor Michael.
That's why Michael went to bed so early on Friday.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, because he was the driver for much
the whole
of
thing.
that time.
Yeah, because Kate and the roast beef betrayed him.
Exactly. That's how it went down. Google Maps is weird. You're weird. Nothing makes sense. No.
I mean, that's just true of everything. All right, well, I see that we're headed for Fort Wayne, Indiana, 119 miles, so I think we're going the right direction at least.
Right. For a second, I was worried to be I think we're going the wrong direction. No. So we need to turn around. We're definitely not getting out of Ohio.
Bingo, Jesus billboard.
There we go. Damn. Should have actually made a road trip.
We should have made a bingo card next time.
You know what? It's not too late. But I am going to try. I'm going to attempt to use Waze one more time.
Man, you have a problem.
No, I keep saying calculating route, and then I can't find one.
You need to
Yeah, it says something. Oh, that's right. I was gonna see if I needed to update my app or whatever.
Okay, so that cherished life billboard says fingerprints in 9 weeks. Like what? So that they can get their fucking TSA pre-check in the womb. Like I don't see how. You know what? I'm not gonna get into it.
I don't have the energy for rage right now.
Honestly, I am far too tired for rage.
Restart my phone. YOLO.
YOLO swag. So we stopped at Tim Hortons, which I said is like Dunkin' Donuts but Canadian, but I think it's better than Dunkin' Donuts. What did you think? How was your Tim Hortons experience? The Tim Hortons experience, that's a cover band.
The donut was nice. I do enjoy a cake donut, which is what I got.
I tend to prefer cake donuts as well. Although I really am a savory breakfast person, I'm not as much as a sweet breakfast person.
I feel that. I'm not really a breakfast person. I just like
It's the most important meal of the day.
when I am awake and I'm hungry and want food. It doesn't necessarily need to be
breakfast.
A breakfast. Yeah.
So you do eat in the morning, it's just not necessarily specifically breakfast.
Right.
Which to me, breakfast food is anytime food anyway. But also other food is also anytime food. So all food is anytime food.
Right. Given the choice though, I will choose sleep over food.
That's a fair choice.
If I can sleep more and not eat, I will do it. Heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel
basically,
like
I plan my life around getting to having the least amount of work to do in a morning as possible. Because if you're around for the previous live stream, when I'm awake, I am just I'm in an altered state. I cannot be relied upon to do anything more complicated than dress myself and drive to work.
I believe that the way you put it was that when you wake up, it's like night terrors.
Something like that.
You're
I
in a
remember.
night
It's just
terror
great.
state.
Right. No. Right. Someone wakes. If I'm awake, if I'm wakened by an alarm or by another person, I go from I'm rudely pulled from my slumber by the reality of me needing to do stuff. My physical body is awake, but my brain is still essentially sleeping. So it's it's panic. It's the night terror. I'm hallucinating.
That's a hell of a way to live, man. That is a hell of a way to live. Fuck. As I've gotten older, I've gotten better about waking up. There was a time when I was fairly owly and growly when I would wake up in the morning. My parents would like send my sister to wake me up in the morning, and she's like, I absolutely do not want to do that because she'll take my head off. But literally until like my mid-20s, the only person who didn't infuriate me when she woke me up was my friend Diana. Because she was just so sweet and loving when she did it. And she'd be like, hey lady, it's time to wake up. And then she'd make like a little like snorting noise at me for some reason, and I would make a sleepy hi. I would make like a sleepy snort back to her, and like you can't be mad at someone doing that, right? So yeah. She was the only person for a while. But as I've gotten older, like mornings are a little bit easier now. I frequently wake up on my own at like 7.
That's not a thing for me.
It's like weird, but also, and this is how I know I'm getting old, I actually like it because then I have more day.
No, I totally understand you. I have the opposite of that. I don't go to sleep because then I have more night. Alternatively, if you stay awake for long enough, you also have more day.
Yeah, because then you just keep going.
Exactly. Just never stops. Yeah. But I do love sleeping. I love sleeping a lot, which is why I hold on to it as long as possible.
Yes.
In the mornings.
With my ADHD, like one of the things that I've learned, and it took me a long time to figure this out, and like anybody who knows anything about ADHD is probably like, duh, you fucking idiot. But you can focus better when you've had enough quality sleep.
Yeah.
And so
sleep is really good for you.
Really good for you. Like this is weird. This just in, sleep is really good for you. So I've been trying to focus a lot more on like sleep hygiene. So getting to bed at a consistent bedtime, not staying up too late, which I threw out the window completely for WatCon because dead ass. I went to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. 3 nights in a row, which is unprecedented in the last like decade. So what was your favorite part of WalkCon?
Rob asked me the same thing yesterday. I'm gonna try not to.
Which Rob?
Rob, Melky, British Rob, colonizer Rob.
You know, like fuck you. Only in a British accent.
Exactly. Man, I think my favorite part of WalkCon was Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. It really like so. It's not just like not to like FOMO for people. Well, I suppose now you have missed out, so it's not really.
But virtual memberships are still available if
Yes.
you want to go back and watch them.
Yes. Michael and Kate were they were such good guests. It was almost like they were another, like just an additional host of the convention.
And just an additional like attendee at the convention.
Right.
They spent so much time just hanging out with everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
They were up until 4 a.m. with us last night. Or
Yeah.
night before last.
Yeah, Saturday night we shut it down with them. So with the experience of like just hanging out with them, and anyone who's gone, like who's seen their interviews or done live streams and whatnot, or had the pleasure of like being on a Zoom call or something with them, I mean they're just good. They're good folks.
They're just genuinely very nice people.
Right. I Saturday at one point, because they were a guest of honor, because so many people have done the audiobooks and have this very like profound connection to that and sort of to them in that way. Anytime I kind of drifted in and out and talked to other guests and attendees and whatnot, because I didn't want to particularly like monopolize their time or whatever. I would ask somebody like, hey, have you had a chance to meet Michael or Kate yet? And almost everyone that I talked to was like, oh yeah, I talked to Kate for like an hour yesterday. We just hung out, or when we were outside, getting some air, by which we mean smoke. We were just hung out and talked, and that warmed the cockles of my heart, right? Because how fucking awesome is that?
It's really awesome.
I have been in the Michael Kramer and Kate Redding fan club for years. I used to at them on Twitter all the time. People were like, the audiobooks are good too, and at Kramer Redding are awesome.
And then we found out that they're actually legitimately seriously really awesome.
Right. You're not just a wonderful narrator, lovely people in the sense that you do the books to prisoners charity and whatnot, but are cool to just vibe with. Michael, this con would not have been the success that I believe was if they had not been the wonderful guests that they were. I think.
Yeah, I tend to concur with that.
Michael and Kate, we want you back next year.
Yes, please come play with us. Yeah. I think for me with them when they were on the Charmel After Dark panel, and they agreed to play with us in the space. Since we started that show, we have talked about how awesome it would be if Michael and Kate could read some of our stupid bits, and then they did, and it was so good, and it was so fun, and it was just so wonderful of them to come and do that with us. For me, I think my favorite part was just watching how much fun everybody was having. Just sitting back and watching everybody enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
We all worked really hard on this. And, it was just so gratifying to see it all come together and to see everybody having such a good time. And, yeah, that made me very happy.
No, that's what I said to Rob yesterday. Right? So I couldn't give the same answer twice, all right?
There's too much to love about it.
Right.
Incredible. This is a slightly prettier part of Ohio. There's trees. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Oh, fuck. Say something.
I'm trying to make Waze work. So the weird thing is, Waze I don't think it wants me to go home. I think that's really the problem.
I think that Waze is rude.
Anytime I try to attempt to get Waze to like take me to Wisconsin, they're like, could not find a route. But I just
This Wisconsin exists.
right. I asked it to take us to the Steak and Shake that we stopped at, like Merrillville, Indiana, and was like, here you go. It's
Waze, you have one job.
yeah, and it's not
You're not
performing.
doing it.
It's not performing well. So we're gonna have to go back to Google Maps. We don't get the boy band navigator thingy.
It's a missed opportunity, but one has to do what one must. I'm just surprised that we're out here in the middle of BFE and we're still getting like a good enough signal to live stream on YouTube.
This is true. I mean, all things considered, we were able to live stream from like the hillbilly corn death trap.
Yeah.
That's
Hillbilly Corn Death Trap, new band name, I call it.
People are like, there's no way this would have happened. This is unbelievable. Like, look, they're here and they still have a good signal. Well, but now we've proved at least that under some circumstances, 5G really is it's gonna make
You want to
sure.
know what it is?
Yeah.
It's the microchips in our vaccines.
Here we go. Between the 5G mind rays and the microchips from the vaccines.
So jokes on you, anti-vaxxers. You
Every-
can't live stream your deaths.
Your gruesome murder. Every like horror movie situation here on out is now more plausible.
Yep.
At least if they're live streaming.
At least they're live streaming. Oh, fuck.
I share a link to Michael and Kate in case they're
Yes.
on the road too. No, they're still in Ohio.
Friends.
Yeah, they're visiting a friend. So I would
I've had to go deliver their luggage to today.
right. Which, by the way, that's wonderful.
Yes,
Love
thank you,
that.
Ash. That
Oh,
was
it's Wish.
Hi, baby.
I still wish Waze could have gotten Alan Rickman, Marvin the Paranoid Android. You have arrived at your destination. Disappointing, isn't it? No, I think
That would be fantastic.
That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Another missed opportunity. Fucking. Are we home yet?
Why am I being called from Texas? Who has my number that lives in Texas?
It's fucking spam.
Well, it's the first time I've had Texas spam. It's normally just like Wisconsin spam. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to let it go to voicemail because I'm an introvert. I don't like to talk to people.
No, why would you?
Even if it's someone I know.
Just if you hit decline, it'll still go.
Yeah, I know, but then they'll know. If it's a real person, they'll know that I declined the call. It has to ring out. And
That is your right as an American.
Oh man,
You're funny. No, I'm not going to decline the call because then they'll know.
it's true though.
Like the chance that it's somebody you don't want to talk to is like 99.99%, and yet.
I think plausible deniability. Okay.
Oh my god.
The links that I will go to not have to like engage with people, and when
And not let them know that I'm not engaging with them.
exactly, to avoid some kind of confrontation. I don't know if this is just a Midwestern thing or an introvert thing or like some brutal combination of both.
I mean, it could be both.
Right. I would like to be polite to people, but I would also like to not talk to them.
Not talk to them at all.
Exactly.
That's introverted Midwest.
You know what? Sherps has just made an excellent point. Voicemail's the way. If they know you, they would have texted.
You want to know what? That's really valid. If somebody that you don't know is calling you instead of texting,
It's the
they
moment
know.
of truth. Let's look at the
Oh my
voicemail.
God, bingo! There was just a little billboard that said the audits prove Trump won.
Oh, no. Let me check navigation for a second. We are gonna in about 8 miles.
Oh, I will be.
In about 8 miles, there's gonna be a fork.
Fork in the road.
There's going to be a choice of left or right. Choose right.
I choose right.
There we go.
I choose wrong. I've got an itch.
All right. What is my voicemail? Shit, fuck.
Shit, fuck, shit. You not have visual voicemail? Visual
No, I
voicemail.
do actually. So the problem is that because I had so that it like makes it a text thingy. Because it's a premium feature apparently. But like that
shouldn't be a premium feature. That's an accessibility thing,
right? The push notification that comes out for like the voicemail that you call, and then the one for visual voicemail, those pictures are very similar. And so I never click on the right one. So I just have to open my app. It is. Anyway, okay, what's happening?
Is it about your car? Is that a warranty?
No, I don't believe you. They're saying they're saying that they're a debt collector, but I checked my credit report yesterday and I don't have anything in collection. So
yeah, they're lying.
They're lies.
Lies and calumny.
Every time I hear the word calumny, I think of that song Hellfire from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Fuck yeah.
And I remember what a fucking banger that particular song is, but also like how that entire soundtrack is.
The whole thing is fire.
Who else? Who did we meet this weekend that was like, you know what's up? Hunchback is the correct answer.
I don't remember. Was it Daniel from Plateau? It seems like that. Seems like something you would say.
I think you're correct, but I don't think it was him. Yeah, might have been Brian, the Loyals Library man.
That also seems like something you would say.
Right, that checks
What's
out.
really funny is we have to be like, which Brian, which Rob.
Right, and it's Brian.
But still, because who articulates T?
Right, Brian. You have a glottal sound there.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a pretty view.
Oh, yeah. We're like at a slight of like elevation.
Slight elevation.
And so the plain of, are we still in Ohio?
Yes, the plain of
Ohio. Wait, what direction? Westbound Ohio. Border Ohio. God.
I didn't know they had a Waffle House in the Midwest, but apparently Ohio has Waffle House. It's a very southern thing from the Midwest.
I think I saw a sign for Waffle House in Indiana, but
yeah. Indiana doesn't count for anything.
That's true. Even people who live in Indiana don't like Indiana.
What's it like?
Perhaps especially. That's my question.
What's it like?
Yeah, I think it was Kat, Vance's wife, who was talking about how she had been offered a job with lots of money, but she would have had to move to South Bend, Indiana.
No.
And she declined it 3 times.
No, you don't understand. I really don't want to live in South Bend.
Like,
good plan, Kat.
Not just no, but fuck no.
Fuck no.
It was a lot of money though. So
yeah, but at what price? I mean, at a certain point, you have to say, like, sure, you have money, but then you're also in South Bend, Indiana.
Right. Do you really want to be the only Asian person in a city?
No, I don't. I don't blame her for not wanting to do that. She's a smart woman, that Kat.
Yep.
Also funny. I love her.
That's hilarious. We love Kat.
We love Kat. And the video that she made for Vance for his birthday, like, she's a fucking keeper. That was so nice. So nice.
For those of you who did not watch the live stream, Kat put together a video of messages
from a bunch of people.
Yes.
For Vance's birthday.
Yes.
He was crying.
Oh.
He was all up in his feels, as he did.
And then we had a happy birthday battle.
Yeah, that was fun. We won.
Yes, I believe it. It's
partly because they maybe didn't know that that's what was happening.
No, yeah.
The other side of the room, but yeah.
Right. It was just, what likely was happening was that it was just it was a delay system. It was a lag.
It was the lag.
It was the lag. Right, where we started seeing it, or maybe they just took them that long to realize that it was happening. And so
or perhaps there was a tempo issue. I mean,
right.
There are a lot of,
possibilities. The point being, we finished our happy birthday on our side of the room, and theirs was still going. And Matt Hatch immediately decided that they could not have the last word and started yelling happy birthday.
Yes, it was excellent. Yeah. Speaking of excellent, Matt Hatch as MC, he was amazing. That man would make a fantastic game show host. Not like in a sleazy way, but in a high energy, like super excellent at being game show host kind of way.
Yeah.
Like a Pat Sajak kind of thing, not the guy on Family Feud who was gross and kissed all the women.
The white guy or Steve Harvey?
Not Steve Harvey, the guy from like back in the day of Family Feud, not current Feud.
Okay.
Old Family Feud.
1970s. Yeah. Okay. I made the vaguest memories of that. Not of like the weirdness, but of him at all.
Yes. I don't even remember his name.
Right. Just like the only person I remember is Steve Harvey. Was it Steve Harvey that was doing the feud?
I think so, yes.
Because he had his own thing in the Steve Harvey show. But
yeah, but then he's also hosting Family Feud.
Right.
You want to know what was really fun though? Match Game.
Match Game
was really fun. We played a bunch of games. It was really fun. Match Game was excellent.
For a con that was not for children, everyone was surprisingly polite. There was I forget the exact phrasing of it. No. Okay, here's what it was. The heroes of the Horn are so heroic that instead of riding horses, they ride plank. And obviously, everybody in the room immediately thought dick.
Yeah, or each other, or something like that.
Right, we all had the same reaction to this. And so I look up on the stage and thinking, okay, so are they going to do it? And the closest that we got, and it was well done, well played, I will say, was Daniel Green's response was me.
Yep.
Yes.
But then Critter was also like, I had the same answer as Daniel, and she said greatness, which was very good and very on brand for Critter.
Yes, it was. And the cherry on all of this is that our lovely friend Nerdy Guns, who was able to pull the Robert Jordan response to unicorns from her knowledge bank. Matt Hatch said, so and
because I believe it was Kate who said unicorns on that one.
Yes, possibly. Yes, like no fucking unicorns. And so Matt Hatch goes back to Dirty Guns and asks, "Okay, so what did Robert Jordan think about goblins?" And she goes, "No fucking goblins."
And then we're like,
and then I laughed even harder because there was a pun in that one too.
Good times.
If you didn't know, Robert Jordan hated unicorns.
Are we still on state? Are we at the right room?
Check. I forgot.
Yeah, it's fine. I did too. We're still not on Ohio.
No, we're not. We're fine. Yes.
Okay, good.
6.5 hours.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's because it took us an hour to find gas.
Right. We couldn't leave the city. We were still.
Yeah, we were literally couldn't leave Dublin because
we're gonna get to an intersection actually because we're on highway.
Yeah, we're on a highway, not freeway.
33 is going to intersect with something called Market Street. We're going to take a left, and then I think it continues to be 33.
Okie dokie.
Right. We have to take a left to remain on the same road.
All right. That's weird, but I'll go with it.
We are about.
I'm not sure why we're not on a freeway anymore.
We are approaching a big ass lake, which I think is pretty.
I like lakes.
Yeah, like a very large lake called Indian Lake.
Oh, wow, that's big.
For those of you on the live stream, Indian Lake. Yeah. Right? Like that's a pretty big lake.
Like Lake Winnebago shit.
Yeah, I grew up in Lake County, Illinois.
There's lots of lakes there.
There are many lakes.
I assume that's where the name came from.
I'm not sure. So many towns with the word lake in it. Round Lake, Lake Geneva. Well, Lake Geneva's in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but still,
Right, but
lake, because it's part of the whole lake country
right.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because you have like Lake County, but then there's sort of like the lake country area where there's just a shit ton of lakes.
Right. It's just a swamp,
Yeah,
basically. And the mosquitoes will
Carry you away.
like we are the prey. It's basically just like growing up in southeastern Wisconsin and northeastern Illinois is the process of slowly being eaten alive by insects.
Yep. That pretty much sums it up. So, wonder why they took us off the free thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's the fastest.
Here's a better question: is that
The Great Miami River, that's exactly the place. It is neither great nor in Miami. Like a brick.
okay? Just wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally have the avoid highways setting.
Yeah, that's the thing that can happen.
Because I don't normally use Google Maps because I like Waze.
I don't think Google Maps bought things.
Are you still heading to St. Jane? No, I didn't want to go there in the first place. I wanted to go home, but you won't let me.
Right, we're turning left here.
Are we?
You said we're going to get to an intersection.
No. There will be an intersection, but not the only one. No, we're just going to keep going straight. Ditch. See why that would be a bad idea. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, it's slightly more expensive here than it was in wherever we
ended up getting gas.
right, whatever that was.
We have no idea.
Right, we don't know.
Oh man, they have a fucking roller rink here.
Nice.
Man.
Roller arena.
Oh, fuck.
We've
I
got
used to
one in-
love roller skating.
We got one in Cudahy. It's called Bolero.
Nice. I had no idea there was a roller rink.
Yeah, roller skating is pretty cool. I'm okay with roller skating in a way that I'm not with ice skating.
Ice skating feels more dangerous.
Yes. I have been ice skating once in my life and will never do it again. For two reasons. The first one is that physically it's not good for me. I'm naturally very pigeon-toed, which means that my feet like to go in. And to ice skate successfully, you need to make them go out. Which meant I was actively working against my skeleton.
Yeah, that's hard.
Like,
Because bones are very much, hey, this is what I want to do.
Exactly. They're stubborn. So like when I was done with the one time I went ice skating, I was just kind of in pain.
Yeah.
Because it was like, no, this didn't work for me.
It's not like the nice soreness of activity, but just like literally hurting.
Yes. The second reason that ice skating is not a thing that I am in for is that you have knives on the bottom of your feet. There's fucking knives.
That is true.
And I could not get the vision out of my head because reminder that I'm a novice at this and I'm not good at it. And so I fell many times. Yes. But there were many other people still ice skating, right? It was fucking public road
Going by you with
knives on their feet as well. And I had the vision in my head that I would fall and my outstretched arm would just be sitting there while I'm like getting my bearings, and someone with the fucking like foot knives are gonna just roll right over my hand and my fingers would just go through.
Oh no.
And so I'm convinced that if I go ice skating again, I will lose my fingers.
Lose your fingers.
My fingers will be gone.
Yeah, I think it's an entirely unreasonable fear.
I do believe that this is probably like a trauma reaction from like an episode of Law and Order that I watched one time. Or maybe it was CSI, where like someone had been murdered in like in a hockey rink because there was a guy that had like extra sharpened his ice skates so that he could use them as a murder weapon.
Oh my God.
And like somebody's throw with them.
Oh my God. Yeah,
and they're like, those would have been really hard to skate on. And they were like, but he was a professional, he could do it. Like, well,
that checks out.
So knives on the feet. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I do not approve. All right, we've got one viewer. It's probably Rich.
Probably. Hi, baby.
That's fine.
I'm fine with it.
The placebo effect of needing to perform for people is going to keep us awake.
It's true.
This is all documented for future, right? It's part of the WatCon experience.
Part of the WatCon experience, baby.
Right? Everything is available for later. Where to? Let's see. What's the
Home. Take me home.
I can't say no, it hurts.
Country road. No, that's not gonna happen.
There will not be karaoke this time around, guys.
We are in pain. We are fucked.
Um,
Oh,
wait.
let's take a minute to talk about how Nameless is a good fucking DJ.
DJ Nibbles.
More like DJ Never Misses.
Hey.
Hey. That was from Overheard at WatCon.
Was it?
Yeah, somebody put that up there.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like something random they overheard by somebody that they didn't know who it was in the men's room. The person literally said DJ Nibbles, more like DJ Never Misses. I was like, that is excellent.
It is excellent. No, he did a good job of
He played just the right amount of a song for people to not get tired of it before he switched to the next song.
right. And it wasn't too white. Right?
No, there's a lot of variety.
Yeah. Because I mean there's I think there's a list out there on the internet somewhere of songs that get white people turned. Which is great.
And probably very, very accurate.
Yes. I mean things like
Songs that get white people.
Like some White Snake and the usual suspects. But there were also, I would also say that list is probably somewhat of a circle form Venn diagram with like people who were born in the mid-70s.
Yeah, there's probably significant overlap there.
Right. Not a bad thing.
No, it's just an observation.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like
all right, this is murder country. We're in murder country right now. Google Maps, what are you doing? I expected it from Waze, but I expected better from you, Google.
We like the court's only about
The court is not tall enough. No, you should be
high.
Yeah, you should be taller by now, Corn. What's going on?
What is it? What's that phrase?
Knee high by the 4th of July. Yep.
You're a little behind schedule.
I'm a little candy ham trailer.
A what trailer?
Canned ham.
Canned
ham. The shape of they also known as teardrop trailers.
I gotcha.
The shape of it is reminiscent of like a tinned ham.
Okay. I never heard that particular terminology before, but I believe it.
Yeah, I would be a trailer like that. But then, of course, that would also require me learning how to drive with a trailer, and backing up with a trailer is very counterintuitive because if you want like the back end of your car to go left, you like turn your wheel a certain way. If you want your trailer to go that way, you have to turn your wheel the other way, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's very frightening.
I will say that not knowing how to drive with a trailer does not will be we're behind on the year, I believe. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
I don't know if he just didn't feel like using his blinker or if his electrical just wasn't hooked up or what, but yeah, he was changing lanes and shit, and there was no blinker. Cut me the fuck off. I was irritated.
I was also apparently we have the same sort of passive aggressive reaction to people when they drive.
Yes.
And
I'm actively aggressive. I straight up yelled, "Big fucker."
Do you know who has road rage that I would not have pegged as a road rager? Who? Matt Hatch.
Yeah, I remember he told us a story about that where he accidentally left Taylor a voicemail. Where he was like raging at somebody.
Yes. I think I can see it now that I know, but did not expect. Hello again, Rich. Carolina. Nils, what's up, Nils?
Hi, Carolina.
Um,
Oh, Carolina was asking me some questions in Discord, and then I got tired and forgot to answer them. She wanted to know about because I was telling her about the what relationships panel.
okay. Our
It's
left
the-
turn is happening at the now.
Now,
God, I'm glad I checked.
crushed it.
Nailed it.
We're gonna die out here. I do not understand why
That
we're
is
not
a
on a freeway
creepy
right
looking
now.
building.
That's
That is-
creepy.
That is
The
creepy
wood
as hell.
stacked up. I'm
And
not
it's all
okay with
square and
that.
cube, and it's there's something
Yeah,
wrong with
I'm
that.
not okay
No,
with anything
no,
that's happening
no,
here right
it's a
now.
mess.
No,
That was a
bad.
very red porch over there. You missed it. You missed it.
No, everything here is terrible.
Yeah,
That's made out of cinder blocks. I'm not okay with that.
oh, Goshen. What?
That
Looks
looks like it used to be important. It's not anymore. I'm not okay with that.
Looks like an old like firehouse.
That looks like it's probably
the Wild Man spices.
Huh.
Something like that. Nope, that was absolutely one of those blink and you missed like
Yep,
little
no,
towns
that was
there.
unacceptable on
That-
every
No, that's the site of a murder.
Yep.
Probably several.
probably on a daily basis. They have just like a whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, I was talking to Carolina about the WOT relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we talked a lot about soiree and how we all felt excellent about that. And then the bad and the ugly, we talked about then Swan and Moraine's like respective relationships with men after that, and like how the whole problematic part of that thing is that the whole lesbian part was a phase, and I had the opportunity to get up on my soapbox about bi representation with that, and I didn't take it, and I kind of regret it. But like, there are people who try to point to the fact that Swan and Moraine had been in like a physical relationship when they were novices and accepted, and then went on later to marry men, and they're trying to point to that as bisexual representation. And I'm like, if that's supposed to be bi representation, I demand better, because that's not good. Like, if you want to call it rep, it's not good, but I don't consider it rep, because like, you're not into girls as a phase. That's not the way it works. So yeah, that was some of the bad. And then we talked a lot about Perrin and Fail. We talked a lot about Rand and his women. And I got on my soapbox about how I think it got did dirty. Because honestly, like, she deserved better than what she got once she was like with Rand, like physically with him. She deserved better. And then the whole Perrin and Fail situation. Mess. Absolute fucking mess. I love Fail. I think she's a great character. I love her. She is fearsome. She is fucking badass. She will fucking shank a bitch and have no fucks to give whatsoever. No regrets. But like, her and Perrin together, awful. Awful. Now and that's some people's like favorite relationship in the series. I'm like,
we're absolutely on the same page with Perrin and Fail. Yeah. Like, we've talked about this before, and the ways in which they mutually create this toxicity, not just for one another, but for the people around them, is not good. With Rand's relationships, I mean,
if you can call them relationships,
right? And one of the things that in my I think I was either on a different panel or like was in a different panel at the same time that you're thinking it's happening. But it's one of those things I'm gonna have to catch on band later. For Rand's relationships, Min's is the only one that is really developed at any point. I feel like Elaine's happened. His relationship with Elaine manifested off screen while they were in the Stone of Tear for like that hot sec. And then everything else with them just, I don't know, sort of, it stagnated, and then they just like, that's it. That's what happened. And quite literally, in my opinion, when we get the sort of spoiler alert for the end of the Wheel of Time books, earmuffs if you haven't finished the stuff. When Rand rides off into the sunset, I don't think Elaine gives any fucks about that. I think she was done. Like she got his babies.
Yep.
And that's all she wanted. And that's all she really needed. And she doesn't care. She doesn't care that she has her own children. And that there isn't going to be like a quote unquote father around for them.
Mhm.
She didn't need that shit. No. Like it's like they're royal children. Their parents aren't going to really be raising them anyway.
Mhm.
You know, and Elaine's not going to sit there and like be a parent the whole time. Avienda's going to do that, obviously. Because Avienda thinks that royalty is weird.
Yes, and also Elaine and Avienda are in a relationship.
There we go.
That's
right.
the relationship
So,
there.
right. So and the whole thing with Avienda, I also think is dumb. I don't think Avienda treated Rand very well.
No.
Especially like the whole beginning thing where he's just like, I don't know what's going on. You hate me for some reason that I don't comprehend. And then suddenly she's like, I'm tired of waiting. And then like she jumps his fucking bones.
Well, it wasn't that she was tired of waiting, it's that she was tired of fighting.
Right, she's tired of fighting.
Because and this is something that I think Jenny, Lesbian Nerdy, pointed out. Is Rand because she ended up into him before he was the Dragon Reborn, before a lot of his Taviran shit really started kicking in. Like he just happened to be sitting on a wall watching Logain get paraded through the city, falls off the wall into her garden where she just happens to be, and that might be some Taviran shit, but like there wasn't any like Min had a vision bullshit or anything like that. Like, hey, into my garden, which seems a lot more plausible. And another point that I think she made, or maybe standpoint, you know, like the two of them together talking about politics and the game of houses and like how to do royal shit. Like they worked really well together. They were kind of a power couple, right?
Right. There could have been, there was potential there.
There was absolute potential there. Where it was with Rand and Avienda, you know, it was sort of like they were together all of the time. They were together, but for another 17 months. Okay, thank you. I mean, Avienda just being Avienda, and like, you know, you belong to Elaine, so I can't have you, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Never wanting to talk about what happened in the sex igloo, which, you know, again, communication. And then the whole Min thing, like, with Avienda and with Min, like, they both knew about the visions. And so, like, their autonomy in that was taken away from them. You know, they didn't choose that relationship. It was foisted upon them by fate or the pattern or whatever. And I don't think either of them were really happy in it. And, you know, there are probably people who will object to this, but really, Min's relationship with Rand basically amounted to her being his companion animal. Like, she was literally like an emotional support sentient being for him. And she got nothing back out of that relationship because he wasn't capable of it. But, you know, at a certain point, should you be like, hey, we can't be in a relationship because I am not able to give you what you needed to deserve as a partner. You know, like, it's
Rand has never done anything wrong in his life.
no, but apparently they're very excited about space travel, which,
That
you
was
know,
weird.
yeah, that was weird.
That was weird.
I kind of want to go back and take a picture of it.
You make your own choices.
That was wild. It was like
Where
a
are we?
giant. I don't know. I don't know why you've taken me here.
It's my fault.
We're in the middle of fucking bumfuck Egypt, and we drive by this house that has a giant like moon cutout with an astronaut cutout. In front. Yeah, Buzz Aldrin or who the fuck it is, but like, yeah, it's some white dude. And yeah, it was a choice. Choices were made.
why I can't see where we are? Because I'm using Google Maps and it doesn't want to tell me stuff.
Oh, look at that busted out
We're-
cemetery.
We're still
Check out that busted out cemetery.
Damn.
That looks awesome.
That is an absolutely busted ass.
It doesn't even have a fence or anything.
Right. It's just like, and here's headstone.
Here is a hill with a bunch of headstones, some of which are knocked over.
Yes.
No trees, no fence, nothing marking
There was, like,
the
a
boundaries
single
of this sacred land.
And a single, somewhat,
Bedraggled?
right now. Bedraggled, that's a good one. It's a bedraggled pine. Single bedraggled pine. We're in between Sydney and Lima.
That tells me literally nothing. Are we still in Ohio?
No, I think so. Yes. No. Maybe. Zoom out further.
Heron's herb shop. Is it actually herbs or is it like weed?
Google Maps, that was a very, you know what, I understand why this is happening, but I still think it's weird. It's like giving me a sideways map, but I've never really experienced a map of the United States this way.
Huh.
Yes, we are still in Ohio. We will not be entering Indiana for a bit.
Are we getting on this freeway up here? Please say yes.
Recentering, no. We're continuing on Route 33 for a while. We are going to get on a freeway. We're getting on like 469.
Nice.
Why it feels like this is giving us directions that are like that aren't on interstates, and that can be an interesting visual experience. But I also want to get home sooner.
Yeah.
I uninstalled.
This is 75 south, 75 north. Do you want to go north or do you want to go south? You want to go toward Dayton?
We don't want to do either of those things because that's just going to take us in a weird direction.
Okay.
We keep on this and we'll head the direction forward. So, okay, back to rates. All right,
Carolina
had. Oh, so Randall Thor has never done anything wrong.
Yes.
I don't think he does not want to be in relationships. They happen to him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
His
autonomy was taken away in this situation
yes,
as well.
in a number of times. And I think the bonding overall in the Wheel of Time series, I have feelings about bonds. I think that they are this is a personal squig for me. I feel like mind control is like my worst fear. And it's sort of like, oh, which Forsaken do you think is the scariest? And it's Randall, hands down, for me, because she takes over people's brains. Like, she mind fucks them to the point of no return. Yeah. And that is scary as hell.
Yeah, it is just compulsion.
Right.
Compulsion so hard that they never come back.
Right. Like, Ruark, like, that's a fate worse than death. Like, and so that was sad to me. Like, fuck you, Brandon Sanderson. You didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to do that to Ruark. You didn't have to do that to our daddy.
Like that. So with Rand and the situation that happens with the bonding, like when Elaine and Ben and Amianda kind of do like the triple, like, hey, we're gonna bond, you don't really get to say this.
If my memory is correct, he was just sort of like, whatever, I don't even care anymore.
Right. Well, it's kind of like he's in such like a fucked mental state pretty much from the beginning of all of this. It's sort of like, okay, yes, is he going to enjoy like that he has people that like want to be with him and around him, and that he can like cuddle with or have sex with or talk to, or at some point, sure, absolutely, he's going to enjoy that. But I think in a way he tries not to do it because he knows that he can't give people things. It's like that conversation he has with Nynaeve in Demons in the Gathering Storm, where he says, dream for me, Nynaeve, dream for the things I no longer can. Where like he understands, like, okay, this is how normal people are able to experience the world. I don't get to have that, and it's not something that I can do. That is not a busted ass.
No, that's a very nice fancy cemetery. It's got ropes and shit in it,
right? And lots of flowers.
Yes,
many flowers. And that's not to diminish the the mistake that he makes, or that regardless of how he ended up in the situation, that he does not, that he's not a good partner. In some,
well, and you want to know, and I do not, and when I say things like that, I am not laying any blame at his feet.
Right.
It's not his fault that he can't be a good partner. All of the things that have happened to him, the burden that has been thrust upon him by fucking fate, like, that has made it so that he is not able to do those things. And I think that that in and of itself, I think, is not a problem, particularly because he recognizes it. I think the problem comes in when the people that he does care about, who also care about him, don't stop and think about what's going to be better for him. Like, we want to be in this relationship with him. What does he want? Does he actually want this? Or would he rather not have to worry about it?
Right.
And I feel like if the three of them had let him off the hook, things might have been easier for him.
I had this conversation with Rob Malky at some point early on in us like getting to know each other. I think it was when we actually did a podcast episode and I was talking about shipping. And in my alternate universe, Rand gets to be single. I think it's a thing in fantasy, especially fantasy that's written by men. Protagonists need to have some kind of relationship. There's always some kind of love.
A romantic relationship, specifically. Like, friendship isn't good enough. It has to be romantic.
Yes.
And or sexual.
Yes. And in many ways, I think it's true of entertainment in general. We do not want to have a protagonist that is single, unless it is for unless like they're like a widower or something like that. They previously were in a relationship, that sort of thing, and it's still ultimately the lack of that relationship is defining characteristics, right? They don't just get to be single. I think that Randall Thor is somebody if I'm psychoanalyzing this, I think Min felt like she was doing her part to save the world by being with Rand. Not that she did not love him, because I believe that she did. And I think that people have different relationships with their femininity and their where they fit into a world that is still dictated by patriarchy in much of the ways. And part of feminism and being a feminist and being a woman is having choices, and being able to choose how you engage in your relationships. And so I don't necessarily automatically discount Min's desire to support Rand and have that be a vocal part of that, as it being like, if she's a bad feminist, she does everything for her man. It's like, well, it's still something she's choosing to do. She could fuck off if she wanted to.
Well, but I mean, can she?
That is a good question.
Could she actually, if she decided to fuck off and go do something else? Because she had the vision, and the visions always come true, and like pattern shit.
Right.
That isn't even taboo.
Yeah, we could be trapped by the pattern. Yeah.
I feel like she might be, like, they all got fucked over by the pattern.
I mean, she does kind of get fucked off. She gets adopted by the show champion.
Yeah, but
right.
And I want to interject here really quickly, because what you said is interesting, and it's the same thing that Brother Ryan said in that conversation.
Oh, well, I mean, if Ryan agrees with me, I take it.
He mentioned the same thing, that because I had said that I felt like Min deserved better than what she got, and he spoke very eloquently about how she was doing her part to save the world, because she knew that she had the ability to support him and all of this other stuff. And my counterpoint to that is that do it in the capacity of a friend and advisor. Right. You don't have to be in a romantic relationship where you are doing all of the giving and nobody's giving back to you, because that's not fair to you. You deserve better. And it's like, yes, even in the context of, is your own like happiness and whatever that important in the context of saving the world? And it's sort of like, yeah, Because how are you going to be able to properly support somebody if you're burnt out and unhappy?
Right.
Taking care of yourself makes it easier for you to take care of other people. It makes it possible for you to do that. So, I feel like Min and Rand's relationship would have been more palatable to me if it had not been romantic or sexual. If it had been close friend and advisor, I would have liked that better because then she would have had the freedom to go get the emotional support that she needed from somebody else.
I do believe, like, especially with the whole vision aspect, that, and also with the way that Min behaves, there's nothing about the creation of that relationship with Rand that is not coercive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Min essentially sexually harasses him into submission.
Yeah, which is not.
Right. Even there's that whole, it's actually really like sad to read, like especially in like after the fact when there is that whole post box like quote unquote life affirming sex that they have, which is not what, it's not how it goes down. The situation as it occurs is that Rand has just heard about I believe it was Colbert hanging herself in her bedroom. And so he had thought that he had gotten around something, and so he's just gotten another one of his, like, woman is dead because of me, that sort of thing.
Just a whole other problem.
Right. So that's like, so he is I believe the setting for this, that he has like he's basically wrecked the room that he's in. And so he's just kind of sitting there with the detritus around him, in a profoundly fucked up state of mind, reminding everyone that it's very, very early after Demise Wells, and he has had a profound trauma. Min comes in and drops the bombshell that Herod Fell is dead, and so she is also distraught, but we're in Min's head for some of what follows, and she like she it there's no way that it doesn't feel kind of like that she knows that she's taking advantage of him. Essentially, she's taking advantage of his emotional state.
Although, in her defense, right, in as much as that's possible, she's not in.
Right, they're both absolutely,
like neither of them are in a position to be able to make any of these kinds of decisions, which is very bad for both of them. But arguably, she is in a state where she is more likely to be able to clock. Do I want to go this way?
I don't actually know, because
you said we wanted to go to Fort Wayne, right?
Sure, let's go for it.
All right.
I'm pretty sure you're right. That 33 is where we still want to be, and I'm gonna put the Google Maps back on. I uninstalled Waze and reinstalled it, and it didn't work. Waze just does not want to.
Just busted.
Waze doesn't want to take me back.
Well, then Waze can get fucked because I'm going home. I don't care what Waze says.
Right. And Google Maps still wants us to do the whole like highway situation.
Well, let me see what I can find out real quick.
Yeah. So we may or may not like still be visible.
Yeah, we may or may not. I don't know what's gonna happen.
You can probably still hear us, but yes, you're doing the right thing. I'm pretty sure that you can't see us anymore. While you're finding your navigation, what happens after they have sex, if anyone recalls, is that Rand spirals into a very deep depression. He believes that he has raped her, and he has like a suicidal ideation going in with that he deserves death for what he did, but that he can't die because he still has to save the world, that kind of thing. So like that's pretty fucked. That's pretty, so like neither of them really should have been having sex at that time. Like,
no,
especially not for a first time.
Definitely not.
Kick off a relationship like that. I mean, the whole
something that was done like it was written that way kind of by Jordan unknowingly, not realizing that it was squicky. But you know, the more I think about it and the more that I learn about him too, the man wasn't an idiot. He was a fucking nuclear physicist, for fuck's sake. So, you know,
I think he was probably misguided in what he was trying to do there and didn't realize some of the implications of the whole trauma aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because when you sort of put the best face on it, it's kind of looking at a way that, like, you know, yes, absolutely. That women can enjoy rough sex, and men don't, like, you know, men don't get to be the ones that decide, like, how a woman's sexuality like manifests and like what, you know, we're okay with or not, that sort of thing. And having men be the one chasing in this scenario as well, like that men is the one who like is cultivating this relationship with Rand. Setting aside that it's sort of like, you know, the whole pattern aspect to it, is also like somewhat it's a departure from the norm. Not mentioning the Matt and Tylen situation.
Yeah.
The whole last mess.
Yeah, that was a whole.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the things that I'm really excited about for the show is that this is an opportunity for those moments to be sort of refined so that the message gets across the way that it's supposed to without it's obviously not sort of relationship interaction is going to be perfect, and it's okay to put in ones that aren't, but it needs to be done intentionally, and it needs to be because it serves the story.
And like that we can sometimes get, or that we do as readers have, we wouldn't be talking about Wheel of Time 30 years later if there were not, you know, if we didn't have multiple interpretations of things, obviously. And I do think that Robert Jordan gives us that freedom with the way that he writes often.
Yeah.
There are times when, but specifically with something like Matt and Tylen, where it's unclear if this is something that we are supposed to laugh at or that we are supposed to find uncomfortable, etc. It rides that line of like, is this brilliant or is this bad?
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Well, mostly I recall, I think there's a quote somewhere on Ye Old Theoryland from the Robert Jordan interview archive, where Harriet mentions reading that and picking up on how it very closely mirrors the experience of women who have been sexually assaulted and not believed, and the shame, etc. And that she let it stand that way. This could be me making shit up. But.
No, I think you're right, and I seem to remember reading or hearing somewhere that it was a deliberate choice that they made to try and broach the idea of men, like it's possible for men to be victims, and they felt like couching it in humor was a way to make it more, I guess, I don't know, palatable or something like that. If that is the case, it didn't land for me, but you know, also I'm coming from a very different perspective at a very different point in time as well. So I think, like, I understand what they were getting at with it. I don't think that it did, like, it went the they wanted it to, and I think the evidence of that is the fact that there are still so many people who don't, I think specifically men, who refuse to acknowledge that what Tyler did to Matt was rape. Like, they're like, no, he it was fun, he enjoyed it. Like, it's like, no, he didn't. Did you read any of his inner monologue? It's like reeking of the kind of confusion and panic that somebody feels when they're in a situation like that.
Right.
You know, this wasn't, it might have been a game to her, but it wasn't a game to him. You know, this was not, yeah. So I feel like he got the fear and the confusion and the panic. I think he absolutely nailed. I think, you know, it's been a while since I've read it, so you know, I'll be interested to see how that.
It's just as bad. It's just as bad every time. In fact, traffic at 1 p.m. and
On a fucking back ass road surrounded by corners with
yes,
this is our fate.
We got corn on the left. We got soy on the right. Oh, he was just making a left turn. It wasn't turning.
Okay, good. Thank God. I'm over
you know
it.
what? If this was Milwaukee, we wouldn't have slowed down at all.
No,
there would have been no slowing.
no, we would have just
exactly no hesitation.
Absolutely none.
Like up the curb. There is no curb. When so I actually stopped my reread of The Wheel of Time after finishing A Crown of Swords. This was back in, I want to say, I'm pretty sure it was like late October, because I knew that the show was going to be coming out, and I wanted to give myself a little bit more. We're pretty much the same in regard. Yeah,
4.6 miles to 127 north. Hey, can you check YouTube? If I stay on the map, do we still show up there?
let me.
Because if I can keep the map up, I would like that better. Not that we don't love seeing people's comments. If I stay on the map, do we still show up there? Because if I can keep the map up.
No, we are currently frozen and sideways.
Frozen and sideways. Okay. Not that we don't love seeing people's comments. We are gonna pause for a little while. We'll be back later. Okay, love you. Bye.